I remember her drawing it, yeah. It's like just the detail that it's crazy.
In a piece of art, in a photograph, life and time stand still.
She was an amazing artist.
She was full of passion.
But in these paintings, these pictures, is a life that didn't get enough time. Anna Marie Randazzo.
You know, she was an angel. She was one of the good ones.
In July 2005, 17-year-old Anna Marie went missing. 2 weeks later, her body was found, burned in an abandoned refrigerator in a Lehigh Acres field.
I remember every detail of it.
Cape Coral Police Chief Tony Sizemore was a detective at the time. In 27 years, it's the worst case he's ever had.
It's such a story that if it were pitched by Netflix, it wouldn't be accepted because it would be too outlandish, too brutal.
Suppressing custody for court.
Police would arrest this man, 23-year-old Jeremy Chapman, and this teen, 16-year-old Joshua Henninger, who they say both confessed to the crime and even planned it. The pair were charged with kidnapping, arson, rape, and murder.
I feel like I have a hole right through my soul.
For Anna Marie's father, John, and Aunt Kristen, the pain is as fresh as the day she was found.
There's nothing that can make up for that loss, that hopeless feeling.
Chapman would plead guilty to avoid the death penalty and get life in prison. Henninger, who couldn't get death because of his age, would go to trial, but was found guilty and also sentenced to life. It couldn't bring Anna Marie back, but it was some form of justice, closure for the family, or so they thought.
I was angry. Nothing will ever justify that.
This is torture. This is torture.
In 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional for minors to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, meaning Henninger could get a new hearing. In April, that's scheduled to happen.
Gotta take a seat right here.
Before it does, we sat down with him at the Lee County Jail.
I'm not a kid anymore, and the kid that was involved with this other person is gone.
Henninger first wrote to us months ago, pleading for a chance to tell his story. He's now 35 years old.
This was his plot. This was not my plot. This is not coming from me.
He says it was Chapman who tied up Anna Marie at Henninger's house in Cape Coral. It was Chapman who wanted to kidnap her and leave the house. Chapman who killed Anna Marie at an unknown cemetery before the pair dumped and burned her body in a Lehigh field.
Why not try to stop it from happening? Or why not stop this at some point?
I did everything I could do besides shielding her with my body, which that was just too cowardly to do.
That's not what Henninger told police back in 2005. After first denying even seeing Anna Marie the night she died, he eventually told detectives another story, then another, finally admitting to the gruesome plot.
With so many different stories that you told, why should someone believe this one?
I think if they appreciate the circumstances surrounding it, if they could take the time to listen. I was a kid, I was young. I just allowed it to happen.
Henninger believes he deserves a chance at freedom, whenever that may be. He apologized to Anna Marie's family and insists he's bettered himself while in prison.
How can people know that what you're saying is sincere?
I guess it would have to be a gut feeling.
I believe that justice was done, and I don't believe the facts and circumstances are going to soften with time.
In the end, the judge could see it that way too. Henninger could, after all this, again receive a life sentence.
Him breathing, that should be a gift for him.
For Anna Marie's family, time has not healed the loss of this life, and time should not change how all this ends.
I don't believe he deserves to see the light of day, ever.
To ask for forgiveness from God. He's not getting it from me.
Henninger was originally scheduled to be resentenced years ago, but it's been delayed several times.
Anna Marie's family is hoping this April they finally get a decision and the closure they've been waiting for.
Her father, your heart breaks for him. I mean, he'll probably never come to terms with this, that poor man. What about a motive? Why did they do this?
Yeah, so we know Anna Marie and Henninger had some sort of relationship. In police reports at the time, jealousy was listed as a possible motive. But look, guys, in this case, you had and still have each suspect pointing the finger at each other, telling different stories, which makes it tough to know exactly what happened and why.